Welcome back, everybody, to our match of the day. Heroic versus Team BDS is about to begin. But before we start this epic matchup of many more epic proportions, we got to set it all up for you. Welcome back to the desk. I'm also Medic. With me are Fresh and Fabian, and we're looking fresh and fit for today. Let's have a chat about this. I was rated as having terrible clothes because I'm not wearing cool shirts like you are. Who's running R6 shirts? I am definitely not pulling out a vendetta or anything.
They keep tagging me and stuff. They're really nice.
You have no fashion sense, Milos. That's what it's all about.
Just want to talk. But anyways.
Hang on, just while we're here. Fabian's really want to talk because do you know who rolls up Fabian's shirt every play day?
You know who picks out all of his shirts?
Not Fabian. That's Milos. Fabian stands here like this, and Milos is there rolling his shirt up.
I literally took him by the hand to the mall. And
we're here to talk about the game of the day.
Let's put it. It's our match of the day, Jackers. Come on, get back on the program. Match of the day: BDS versus Heroic. And the big question is, those 4 rounds that you guys talked about, that BDS lost last time, and Alems was saying, "Oh yeah, we're just trolling." Is this for real, or are we going to see it again?
I'm hoping the win against Outsiders, once BDS knew that they'd sorted their issues out and the momentum of that game carries into this game, and we get a BDS that, because it's individual player mentality, it's individual player block within themselves, individual decision making, and you can't teach that in strategy or teams or anything like that. They've got to get over this kind of hump themselves. If they get over it, this is a formidable team.
Saying that for a year.
Yes, we have. That's the problem. And it will happen. I believe it will happen. I don't know if it will take a roster change in their roster for it to happen. Yeah, I'm just on copium, but it's fine. It's because my 2 predictions have gone wrong. But they're a formidable outfit. They're still getting the wins. They're still going to majors. They're still a top EU team. They're just not as currently formidable as they've shown that they have been.
No, they can't afford to drop 4 rounds on trolling this game, because their opponent is quite a lot more formidable. So if they do that, I think they're getting in for a rough time.
Well, let's talk about their opponent, Heroic. Last Playday they came in, they absolutely rolled over Pones, and we just got it from Nico why he thinks that actually happened. But Heroic looked like they were just playing proper Siege, and you said it so many times the past few days.
Yeah, they played proper Siege, they played the basics. They had the drone setup, the strategies, communication. The only time they really lost rounds was when they tossed them themselves. And then again, if we look at how Pones performed today, and even if they might have been morally down in Pones, if they have this big of a gap between their bad days and their good days, I think we still might have a good Pones, and Heroic just was even better. It's just like that they have taken that step to now be a solid #1 team, and BDS can, well, I guess they can challenge them, but I don't think they will.
The conviction with which Heroic play, how quickly they are at rotating and doing things as a team. They do not question their in-game leadership or shot callers whatsoever. Somebody sees a gap, they do it. Even the rounds they lost, they did it with conviction.
Yep.
Our map then for this series. Let's see which one it will be. We've seen a lot of Chalet and Bank in the last time. We're going to go to Café Dostoevsky. Okay, we're going to get 2 of it so far this week. Heroic will take out Club. BDS will have the final say. They take out Villa and leave us with Café. They start defense. Heroic have picked up for the attack, choosing attack on this, but we just heard it from Nico. This map seems to have evened out more.
It definitely have evened out. I think that I would probably consider it attacker favored at this point.
Fair.
Because there's just so many tools to unlock every single hold with. There's just always some way to take care of it. So the map, I don't know if it leans either way or the other. I think both teams are very comfortable on this map. We saw Heroic play it last stage, and they just basically smash it out of the park every time. BDS have always been comfortable on Café.
This could be the fight for #1 in Europe, though.
Yes, unfortunately it went to Café. I think that map's boring. I wish I could have seen Favela, like me and Jack does in a... No,
okay, King George. Yeah. But how would it happen here? Heroic BDS, very quickly, we're about to go into game. Jack, your thoughts?
I hope BDS starting out on the defense, they don't troll 4 rounds. And what I mean by that is that they play their power positions and they play them with their lives. They play them how they're supposed to be played. If they do that bit of trolling, moving from positions where they shouldn't be, Heroic will be there to capitalize on it.
I hope they troll, because then I get my prediction right.
Fair enough. Maybe Wrencher will be standing on a window the entire game. We'll have to see that for those that remember those olden days that still actually continue to happen. Though Fabian Fresh, thank you very much. I am very hungry, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy this game. So BDS versus Heroic. We toss it to our casters. It's happened as enjoy.
Do you want to say it with me? Wait.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, Miloš. It's me, Des. It's Max Verstappen here today for this game. We haven't cast together in a long time.
It's been a long time for sure, yeah. That probably goes back to when we still did the shuffling.
Yeah. 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Damn, it has been a while. But here we are for a real classic as well. Heroic coming up against BDS on Cafe. A repeat once again. Did see that, of course, on the last map just a moment ago. Hopefully we see a more competitive game because Na'Vi, frankly, were dashed all over the floor, left in the kitchen sink by the end of it. This one close for you at home as well. 47% going with Heroic, 53% with BDS. So still a lean towards the French team. Which way are you going for this one?
I think I voted Heroic, but it's like I'm hoping BDS will be regaining their top spot. Yeah, no, yes, exactly. But it's like I voted for Heroic, so I voted with my mind, but my heart says otherwise.
All right, I'm Heroic all the way through. Gorgona's going to kill me, and he's a pretty scary man, so I can't really go against the board.
You're forced to go for it.
I have no choice. I'm basically held hostage with my prediction here, absolutely. Bans are already rifling on through. Flores the first one to start out here from BDS. I reference it every single time they ban this operator. Away LMs once said that is the strongest operator in the game. 4 of those Roteros just so powerful for removing away power positions. And when so many teams on maps like this are playing Azami, Jaeger, Wamai, really effective. If there's no mute on side, it is the best go-to tool for removing players from those really dug-in positions behind those Azami keeper barriers.
The bans so far have been anything but default. And the last one coming in right now as well is going to be Smoke. It's definitely anything but default here. Floor's gone, the Yana gone. Yana, of course, used to be like...
You got to whisper this. Those are funky bans. If you say it too loud, Lycan gets triggered from across the ocean. So you got to be really careful. Don't want that to happen,
so we got to be careful with that one. But yeah, some funky bans coming through. The Yana being taken out was always basically the replacement back then coming in for the entry frags on Zofia when the AR suddenly became a bit unusable. Gemini replicators able to deal with these Surya laser gates. Sorry, I didn't have the same accent as Tim, so you don't get anything better than that. No. Just deal with those. Also get some information. Gone 6, 2 grenades. Used to be the go-to entry fragger, and then we found out about the LMG, and I think it kind of took over.
Can you give me your best Tim impression of saying laser gates, please? It gets me in the mood. It's what gets a cast started.
Honestly, man, I already struggle speaking English as it is.
That's why I want you to do it. For comedy value.
Laser gates!
That sounds more like demo than it did, Tim, but I'll give it to you. You gave it a good go, and thank you for being a good sport. We are going to have one of these holds coming here inside a piano. We're used to seeing this from the last game as well. If you were paying attention, we've got mute jammers coming through onto the piano wall. We're going to have an Azami inside of here, locking things down and making this a real hard place to assault into. That is where the range destruction will come into play. So looking mainly at the gun sits coming in from Sloth, looking towards the nades that might come singing through. But I'm also looking towards Benja on that Decabi here happen, just thinking if anyone's out in the map, which isn't really a BDS thing to do, to be fair, then you know full well Heroic will be on them.
Yeah, those phone calls will give away the information. Of course, doesn't give you a ride-on ping like a Jacko would if you do scan the footsteps, but definitely gives you a situational awareness, whether or not someone is close or not. You gotta be careful, though. Mute jammers do block that phone call from coming through, so you might think something's clear, but with a mute jammer being out and about, you might just get caught off. As a result for this, we're focused for a jump out. Will be confirmed. Didn't even hit a single shot, I think. Not actually one onto Sloth.
That doesn't feel very BDS. What is this? Rafal? Stay in the map, bro. That's your game plan normally, but hey, I'll welcome him with a little bit of aggression. We see it coming out from the Lems. He gets one, but then lands straight into a Claymore and finds himself down on the ground. 4v3 as the Candelas, the Chaos springs out. Playday from inside of stock holds the fort at least for a few more seconds, but this plant is going down. They got an Ossa, they got Candelas, they have got everything they need. Uno's onto a double in the round as Renshiro hits the deck as well, so a 2 versus 1 temporarily, and you can see now what the game plan was as well. The chaos of the Ossa, the KB, the Candelas, everything coming in together alongside the tracks. It was a really well-sprung trap coming out from Heroic, and now BDS have somehow got a restage, a retake.
You have a single keeper barrier left. You might be able to actually, yes, close that one off. Try and go for the long arm there with the shotgun coming through. Have someone ready to go for the cover, but it doesn't seem like they can reach it currently. One shotgun shell comes through. A jump out potentially to fall, but it's Uno that is coming in from behind. Is Playday in time? Yes, he is! He is in time, Playday!
He saw it through the gap in the shield!
Gets the clutch!
What's he doing?
They shouldn't have won that one.
That was such a smart play as well. Like, you completely He baited the man out the window. He had no idea you were up on the roof. He was off in Narnia down there going for a trek in the snow. But, oh, the pain, just not...
What?
He could have seen the man. He could have seen him if he'd shot through the side of the shield, but went for the vault and just simply did not have enough time. A bit of a kicker for Heroic, but BDS pull it back by the skin of their teeth.
These are the rounds that will eventually cost you the entire game. But what happened there? I mean, okay, I like the plant. As you said as well, it was a good strategy. You just overwhelm them on the side with all the PC utility you toss in. They used the talent shield, smashed it in as well, so in case someone was able to get a bit of a peek through, you wouldn't have been able to see if someone was planting. Same goes, of course, for that side.
Just watch the gap in the... Uno, bless
It's
you.
a
Look.
very small
Look,
gap.
You see him! You see him!
But it's like at that point, he
You're
already
in
knew
full
what he was
send
doing.
sprint. It was like, okay. Gets the
No, get my voice in the background.
See, they
there.
did that in the last map, and they slowed it down.
Oh, did they?
I love how Fresh has just
glad
held
they
up. Look at
didn't
that.
this
Look across the room. EU Siege, bro. Fresh says on his iPad. That's all his notes have got to say for this game.
Oh.
That is a real classic.
Yeah, it definitely is. Opening kill and plant for Heroic. BDS runs away with around that kind of fashion. Either way, it is what it is. Just got to stand up and try and move on from here. This time it is all based around the kitchen. Bit of an open wall policy here. They removed a complete wall in between the two sites and created lots of lines of sight elsewhere as well. Some Molotovs being tossed in with the Shamika launcher here.
Ooh, nice bounce.
Actually bounces back out towards the finger. Good shot there.
Yeah, I like the lineup coming out of BDS. Well, to a level, it's very easy to read what the game plan is here. Everyone wants to be dug inside. They really want to hold things down. Maybe you see LMs getting out around the map, but really, the longer this comp stays alive, arguably the better it's going to be. You've got those Shumikers to go through. Of course, you've got more of those barriers to come out. You've got more magnets in the back pocket of Rafal as well. So losing members earlier on could be quite punishing here for BDS. You just want to see him be nice and cautious here. Keep on running through a bit of time, but in they go, trying to find one, and they've already got rid of the Chanka. That's the kind of kill you want. A second one came through as down goes the Wamai. Those magnets to be no more. Magnets aren't real. Didn't you know about that, Hap? 3 versus 5, and Heroic looking in commanding position once again. But we all know how last round went.
It's a good quick push coming through. Even though the fire was there, they weren't too bothered about it. Just boost up and go through. You might be able to find yourself some entries there. Big opening made into the prep wall there. Lems tries to take a fight through. It won't be able to last any longer than that. Shanker goes down as well. It's a triple entry before response is attempted to be found here by Lems, but he misses most of his shots and potentially will fall next as well.
Good one onto Benja as well. Key man to find. Now, does he know about the man stepping across? Yes, he does. It's Gorgona. Here comes a new challenger. He screams. There's 1 HP left to his name. It's him in the Colosseum, and still 3 members of Heroic looking to bear down here. But Lems may have done enough work here to slowly give BDS a chance of still winning this round. One more on the wide swing, but Sloth cannot be stopped this round. Finds the 3K. Bride left alone, and he's got a lot of work to do here. Sadly, no smoke on side as we saw it banned away. His normal go-to operator has got to make it work on the Azami. Down to about 10 HP. One more bullet and he has done it. Sloth with a big 4K, and Heroic with that round win get what they should have had after round 1.
They definitely did, and it all started with that push Daz through the cupcake area. They knew exactly where they were. I mean, the Chachunka was trying to bait in these shots, trying to get the Shimikas on the position of that doorway where Sloth was waiting to just push in. But at the same time, Heroic knew exactly that there was someone in the prep as well, because as they shot on these Excaliburs, they were being shot out. And you do that to protect the player behind it, and as well, of course, later on in that round, if someone is in the prep window. But that gave them the idea, okay, there's 2 players out here. If we then see that, you know, you can jump into wedding safely and take a gunfight from that position as well, you can easily overwhelm them, especially if Ranchero has a Shamika launcher out. And that, of course, was the case as these Molotovs kept on being tossed in. You just run through them. I mean, they do some damage, but you're thinking you can heal yourself back up. It's not a big deal. If you get the kill, it's worth way more.
Well, we've seen teams do this, I think, on Bank Basement. I want to say it was G2 or a team against G2. There was Shumikers landing at their feet, and they said, well, forget about it. We're full sending in towards Bank Basement. We're going for that reinforced wall. That's our home. That's our plant spot. And they only took about 25 damage each. You can run through them, which is why comboing it up with something like potentially a Goyo or Smoke is a good idea. Either way, Heroic really took the advantage there as well and just said, right, we see a small window of opportunity here to charge in and catch BDS off guard, and my God, did it work. But can you count on lightning to strike twice? Can Sloth hit a second 4K? That's where the doubt starts to creep in.
You never really want to rely on a player getting a 3K or 4K consistently.
Nope.
Because that just doesn't happen, or rarely happens. Rather, Also, just want to quickly point out back to that smoke ban. Right now, they use these shumikas, but if they would have used a smoke, the canister would actually do double damage under the tick of a finka. So with that smoke being banned, they allow themselves to rush like that.
Is it like 33% extra or something? I remember being really underwhelmed.
It's double ticks for the smoke.
I remember being really underwhelmed by how much damage it actually does. I always thought, man, they'll die in like half a second, but no, it takes a lot longer than that.
For sure, Playday under some pressure here, though. Has some Kibas ready. He's the first target they want to go for here is exposing himself or putting up a new Kiba barrier to at least lock off that window slightly. But I believe that the Kiba actually bounced back or didn't fully deploy, so that might be an issue for him.
Yeah, I mean, at this position, it's an interesting take because I haven't seen anyone hold here with these army barriers before, but Sloth gets away with it, being chipped out there from inside of Freezer. He had no idea where the shots were coming from, but walks away, maybe without a few toes, but still alive at the very least. And now we can see for BDS, once again, down on that numbers advantage as Heroic continue to grow their lead. It's Uno getting a second one, this time the Lems falling by the wayside with that carbine that kicks like a mule. Now leaves the Wamai and the Shanka, plus the Warden still on site.
Shanka trying to go for a bit of a gunfight here towards the VIP area. Spots that. It's just not quite able to get it. It's quite uncharacteristic for him there. He's usually the one that is so sharp because every head he sees is a 4 for 10, fifth one. He will finally get it. And we'll try and reply towards the side of Heroic. But they still have a minute advantage here that they need to deal with.
One thing I will give to BDS, they have been excellent at destroying drones so far throughout this game. In the last round, they were down to like 2 with still 75 seconds to play. Here, there are none. But they say drones don't kill people, guns do. And in they come. Gorg with a big 2K from inside of Coates, and another comfortable closeout for Heroic, who it really feels is starting to settle into the game now, Hap.
I haven't felt like the kitchen hold that BDS did really worked out for them.
No.
It was a very open wall policy. They removed the entire wall in between.
Open wall policy?
Yeah, it's not open door.
That's the kind of thing you see in like an office.
Yeah, it's not an open door policy.
Yes,
it's just an open wall. There's just no walls. They just removed them from existence.
We believe in true open plan here in the cafe.
We don't have any of these walls. Makes it quite awkward actually to retake the site as soon as you start falling. And more importantly, if you lose Coat, if you lose VIP, if you lose that hallway and Wedding, which are the one parts bordering the outside of the map, suddenly they can literally see throughout the entire site. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't even need to enter the site. They killed everybody outside. And that is because they opened everything up. They weren't able to hold onto these important rooms like Kocak, which means that they lost it as a result.
In Formula 1, who's got the issue with the powertrains? Was it the power unit someone was having an issue with?
Ferrari is currently.
Is it Ferrari?
Yes.
Okay. I'm holding on to that one because I've got one for you later.
All right.
I'll hold on to it for now. As then we're going to see this Asami setup coming inside of Piano, becoming quite popular across the last couple of games. I can't remember who it was that played it. I want to say it was Games Without Borders, but they set inside here and had the 3 Kiba barriers kind of in very close proximity, dug in the south center of the room. Here, what you see in the change coming in is actually the much more spread, the more towards the window. They're actually against the Piano kind of curve wall itself, right? So a couple of changes or evolutions coming in terms of setup at this point. And here comes that Nook. Now, I tuned into Super in the second game. I just didn't want to listen to anyone cast, so I thought I'd go and listen to Super instead. And he was saying a lot of EU teams really do kind of undervalue the Nook and the power in using it. Grizzly here clearly wants to give that one a go.
I mean, the Nook is quite powerful, of course. Uses the help presence to be undetected by cameras. Really is a bit of a sneaky hybrid between Vigil and Kavera for the attack, where you can just sneakily get around. And if you play your cards right, you might be able to get a free entry kill, maybe even more than that, if you do find out. And if you do get droned and have the information on the defenders and where they're located. Either way, a lot of grenades are being tossed in currently, or explosives to be used by the side of Heroic. 5 left in total, 1 used so far. Also see impact on the side of Gorgona. Most likely will be used to get rid of these Kiba barriers.
Here we go as they start to set up on this longer range as well. You can see Ventura holding it down. They've got Shaiko across the top as well, so very much this big vertical hole coming in. For the side of Heroic, everyone out towards that west side looking for this top floor clear. We've seen it a million times at this point, Hap, where it's just like attacking the top floor, but with a few extra steps. You've got to get this top floor cleared out, where hopefully there's less utility, less gadgetry coming through. A C4 in hand may well find himself a freebie. Yes, he does. Down goes Sloth, who after that 4K has had a bit of a rough time so far.
Definitely so. Sloth taken out. Stefinka, no more healing capabilities. 2 grenades off the board as well as the Lems goes even more aggressive after that very first kill. Is unable to connect the shots eventually. Benja just barely lives as Lems takes some small amounts of damage as well. And the top floor slowly being taken here by the side of Heroic because they now start to move on the bar side as they took some damage from the planks.
Yeah, down to a slither of HP, but you know he can still do so much work on the vertical, unless, of course, he gets sprayed on. Has the nade in hand here as well. Can he dump it down and find the man? Goes for it. May well do a bit of damage. Tickles onto Playday. Not enough to finish him off, but no real contest can come back the other way. But suddenly that impact nade that most would laugh at is now about to do a lot of damage. If that catches onto Benja, he's out of this round.
It depends on who it hits. He's definitely waiting to find out. Hoping to get some sound in. Hoping to get a sledgehammer. C4 won't hit anything. This one might.
Come on. Just throw it, Playday.
Just release it.
It's not a Pokeball.
Just let
let
go.
it go. Yay! Thank God for that. And he catches himself a Benja. What a great Pokemon to have on the belt. As it stands then, we've got BDS still sat in a 5 versus 3. They have chipped and picked away at the members of Heroic. And now have got a great chance to equalize things out into a 2 versus 2. Down goes Uno, a 5 versus 1. This is much more like the BDS we all love and know. A clear, flawless round coming out to end round 4.
With that, we go back to 2-2. They managed to equalize that scoreline, keep themselves in the game here. Don't want that to go too far out of reach. Not after you saw that last game. That
if pro players were
1-5.
Pokemons, which one would you want to catch?
Are we talking about this game or in general?
Well, it's in EUL.
I think Shaiko would be a good one. Currently not so much, but he's someone that consistently drops 100 kills every stage.
He does.
It's a good one to have on your...
Although this stage, he's looking a bit more like Hamilton. Bit of a slow start to the season.
Yes, he's definitely not.
I got a small chuckle. That's the most I'm going to get out of you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the most you get most of the time.
Okay. Great.
If you really want to make me laugh, you need to have a very good joke. So.
Well, I've already got the Power Unit 1 prepped.
Yeah.
I'm saving that for
Wonder
later.
how that one is going to...
Yeah, I'm saving that for later. I'm
Either way,
trying to think of as many as I can, just to roll them in there.
get as many F1 references.
What about crashing and burning like Latifi? Can I drop that one in there at some point?
Oh, he didn't burn. Grosjean did.
He didn't burn, but he did crash and burn out of the race. Several times,
He
actually.
does very many times,
And
yes.
ruins it for everybody else. So if someone gets a TK, they can be called Latifi for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you could, yes.
I tell you what, you could make a fantastic
Especially
game.
if you lose a championship due to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that'll have to wait for like Playday 9. You'll be waiting a long time for that one.
You definitely will, but there's opportunities to go for it. Either way, Jack really loves that one.
He's enjoying this. The thing is, like me, he's binged his way through Drive to Survive, and now it's just like, yeah, I know Formula 1.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all the purists are just like, oh, but it's dramatized. It's not even real F1. I'm like, bro, it was fun.
Jack
Let me enjoy things, please.
Still sends me a message almost every race asking what's going on and like, but why did we
Jack, have you done the one yet about why do the cars have sparks coming out behind them? Have you asked that question yet? No, I had to ask that pretty soon. Because it looks cool, apparently.
It looks cool, but it's not the reason why.
also
I'll
looks
explain that later on. It's all fine. It's not really anything important during this game here as flashbangs are being tossed in through the skylight just to make way for this grenade to potentially find a target as it bounces through. Instead, no damage done.
No. They couldn't quite smartly realise exactly what was coming there. You hear a couple of flashes come in, you know to dip away, because you know very surely that's going to be the burn for an ADS or a magnet, and shortly after there's going to be a frag coming through as well. And looking at Rinshira, he's putting a bit of amazing mirrors inside of here as well. Everywhere you look, it's just grey walls with strange textures on. No one really having much of a clue exactly what's going on in there, but he's building himself a little nest egg that's going to make it hard for Heroic to be able to pick out the man.
Yeah, seem like they want to go for the piano entry here. It's just a little bit of a problem, namely a ton of keeper barriers that have just been tossed up, and those will definitely be limiting the lines of sight that they can go for as Rinshiro is looking to either go aggressive or fall back. He's still somewhat on the edge of it. He needs to make a decision here soon, because the longer he stays here, the more in danger you are of a potential grenade to come through. So you either need to dig in deep, or you need to go a bit aggressive and try and catch one off.
Oh, there he goes. Found himself one, finds himself two before finally getting shut down. Korg, a little bit slow on the reaction there because Alems has picked up another, and the damage coming out from Pixel is untold. 3 kills for BDS, and when it looked like maybe it was Heroic warming up earlier, it's absolutely BDS. A 4 versus 1, and there is still 60 seconds to go through. Want to draw your attention again to only 2 drones being left for the attackers. Their information game has just been decimated by BDS round after round, and finally the French side is starting to capitalize.
You definitely see how the Kiba barriers of Azami can transform a bit of an open area like the piano into a bit of a maze where you can just pop up at any given moment, at any given spot, and it would just not be aware of it. A double kill to lead in on that one, and after that BDS able to clean up house. Put themselves up to 3. Suddenly they're in the league now. Can they hold on? Can they make this a 2-4 as they head back towards the kitchen, which just hasn't been working out for them at all?
It's been a bit messy, hasn't it, really? I mean, they lost it twice in a row and said, right, time to bail away. And here, rather than going in towards mining and fireplace that we did see in our last game between Pones and Na'Vi, we go back down towards kitchen. They're thinking, look, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me thrice is now what we'll start looking at here, Hat, because really, they've got to get this one right. They have changed up their comp a little bit as well. They've got that Mute and Mozzie on side. They've already been doing such a wonderful job at getting rid of all the drones that I don't really feel that's 100% necessary. It does mean they sacrifice away things like the Jaeger and the Wamai. So if Heroic read into this and bring along a ton of nades and play vertically instead, they can do a lot of damage.
Massive change on the side of BDS. Namely, they haven't decided to open up the triple wall. They put a reinforcement in the middle so they can at least have a bit of a fighting chance. Also, no rotation towards the bakery side.
I was so confused what you meant. You mean Heroic, right? Sorry.
No.
Is it changed to BDS triple wall? I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, BDS has made a massive change.
No, you're right. I'm an absolute idiot. I was so confused.
We know that, Des. That's all
Yes,
fine.
yes. Don't worry, I'm the idiot today. You know what? You should rock out some more of the F1 jokes. You've got the knowledge.
I'll try and make some references.
Just think of some. Have some fun with me. Come on.
I'll do my best during the round here. See if I can find any reference.
When I'm talking, you can just sit and, like, you know, one, analyse, and two, come up with some funny lines. It's what the people want.
Give my best.
Exactly. Love it. Let's see how things shape up. Again, looking towards the big heavy denial of information, because I think really that was probably what Heroic rocked away with in round 2 when Sloth charged through and they got the entry inside a bakery and things really kind of heated up from there. That's what they're looking to try and shut down. They have an inkling that someone is playing upstairs because of these holes, and they would be absolutely correct. As you saw a player there, the Mute just stepped right across. Now, Alems is going to be careful how quickly he looks towards this hole. He's going to step across and Ben just sees him but just can't quite hit the shots.
Quick reinforcements being opened up here by the Excars of Uno. Looking to go for an opportunity to get a quick plan down. Make sure that they start on the front row here.
Dead him.
Oh,
Close.
close. That one will hit. That's a good snipe coming in with the DP28, I believe it's called nowadays. Further opening being made though. Uno finding Shaiko brings it back around.
He's really trying to use this wall as best he can just to get these tiny little pixel angles locked up as well. And good use of the Kiba barricade to give himself a little bit extra to use as well. Kind of a more fine angle to play behind. Can also step to the left of that Kiba barrier. Almost safely maneuver his way across the gap, and now there are limited options on the attacker side to get rid of that. Renshiro again striking big. Who cares about the shot? Because when you've got an LMG, hits the 3k before Gore gets the trade back out again. But for me, at least here, Hap, the damage has been done.
And that's it. No open wall policy this time. You could be working with that little bit of an angle. You could have shot through. You just saw there 3 kills coming from the Kiba barrier and the reinforcements. It was hard to challenge. You need to be very accurate on your shots to make sure that those will eventually connect. And as it seems like they're going through the hallway now, about to be taken out. They have a Playday just steps up. They know the last one is on top of red. It's Grizzly who gets taken out as well. Playday finds a second headshot there and makes sure that BDS, even though it looked like they might have been dropping down quite quickly after the 3rd round, are able to bring it back to a 4-2.
That was your time to make an F1 joke, dropping down like
the grid.
Someone who's fell in the rankings recently. He's had a poor season so far.
Hamilton.
There you go. Hamilton would have been great. It's like a real dig at the British fans.
I don't want to be the typical Max Verstappen Twitter fan,
but
who
you
just
are
continues.
Typical Max Verstappen.
But I'm not
Twitter
hating on Hamilton all the day. You know, it's not my full-time job to.
That sounds like a lie to me.
It's not my full-time job to make Twitter posts about Lewis Hamilton and how Max Verstappen is better.
When I first got into F1, I was talking to you about Hamilton, and you were just like,
No, I mean, he's very good. I just didn't think he was going to win that championship.
which he was very close to.
He was very close to.
Until Verstappen got a nice helping hand from the race officials.
Exactly.
Yeah, Hamilton got robbed, as Easy tells me.
Yes. I'm not disagreeing.
You look like you're seething with rage right now.
No, I'm not disagreeing. That race he should have won. The championship should have been Max's though. So it's a bit of.
To do that, he had to win the race.
Yes, but you know we can always talk about Silverstone or other crashes that happened, or Bottas just playing bowling on Hungary. You know, there's multiple instances.
No big deal. No big deal. Frash is there doing the like fishing rod like emoji. Like, whoop, 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 whoop. Beautiful. Right, we are into enough of our Formula 1 for a few minutes. We have gone on for a while now. We're into the defensive half for Heroic. They are down a couple of rounds. It's kind of expected that you'll walk away with that 4-2 at the half on the defense here. So I don't think it feels too bad if you're Heroic right now, but they've got to kind of come back and do to BDS one better. They've got to win this 5-1 on the defensive side. And really what we see in this first round is going to be really telling, I think, of how the rest will play out.
All right, BDS. Let's see if you can continue that pace. Oh, there's a C4 coming through. That is a very default one. That's why you open it up on that angle, because what you usually see is the the sledge instantly going towards the other hatch. That grenade could have caught someone off. There's someone behind the bars, though. Are they aware on the side of BDS?
Maybe a bit more shallow than that as well. They're actually dancing in front of the
Drone
bars
up
here.
there.
Yeah,
That's
Grizzly.
exactly where he is.
I mean, Grizzly's playing. We saw this back in Pones Navi where someone was playing here, but they were supported by ADSs as well. I think Grizzly now knows, okay, look, my time's running out here. We've gone through the ADSs. It's time for me to get the hell out of Dodge. Now you got Uno still dug in, mind you, with a burnt out ADS. It just reactivates. So no real capitalization by BDS. Now that's come back online. That's another bit of utility they'll have to chunk the way through. Still got 4 flashes on side. You can hear the drones coming through, slowly chunking their way through them. And just like Heroic did to, like BDS did to Heroic, there's only 4 drones left about halfway through the round.
The fact that a castle barricade behind Uno is still up and running is allowing him to play this close on this angle, and that will mean that as soon as BDS decides to go for a drop through the red hatch, they will definitely be met with some buckshot from the English shotgun there. So they need to be very careful how they proceed here, especially Shaiko just currently moving up. Flashbangs will be called off by the ADS. Uno looking to swing. And with the castle barricade still up, he has every protection to do so.
They're letting the ADS time up again because they're down to only 1 flash. They've got no frags on site. How have they not even challenged inside of here with all the utility they had? They had 6 flashes. They had the Zofia. They had nades. Yet the man still stands. That is a wonderfully wicked swing coming out of Shaiko. Uno should have won that every day of the week, but Shaiko is just better. They've got the entry they need with or without utility, but it's taken them 2 minutes to get to this point.
And the issue again, the castle barricade was still up. It allowed for some safety, but now it cuts off a rotation. So every single player of BDS needs to make a bit of a commitment here because it's going to be difficult to go for a rotate, especially with these last pieces of utility being used elsewhere for cameras all the way on the backside. And the Shaiko now digs in deep inside the freezer. He takes a bit of a hit, but he continues to try and push forward.
The Juice coming back up as well. Sloth versus Shaiko. Who wins out? Battle of the S's. It's the Sloth that comes out the winner. A 4v4 Gorg into another, but Playday takes Shaiko's shoes and keeps on stepping forwards. Gets the trade back. Diffuser in hand. Down to about 40 HP. Is now going to plant on bags. Grizzly all too aware of what's coming in out towards his right-hand side. And now they want to push in and try and stop the man going for the plant. But he's already moved away. It's a 3 versus 1. Playday can't close this one out. Heroic will do just that with 3 left alive. A good start to the half.
Well played there. BDS trying to go for the execute, but lost too many players. I mean, the swinging from the window, not ideal. I think it kind of served as a bit of a distraction, or at least a move to try and lock off that balcony if they did try to push into Playday there, but also the D line dying didn't really help. Force Playday to go off and hunt for these kills in that dire situation, and that allows Heroic to push it back up to 3-4. But you mentioned it before. They used so much utility, yet weren't able to find a single entrance, and it was forced onto Shaiko and his LMG to just swing the corner and hope for the best.
It's less even that, like, the fact they got the entry is still great. Like, you're really reducing your chances of getting the entry by not doing it with utility, or at least by forcing the player away. The concern for me was time. There was 48 seconds left by the time they had control of Cigar and was starting to think about, okay, now we can start looking one past that. We've got no drones left. We'll have to make this work by walking forwards. It's why Shaiko looked so unsure when he was first pushing inside of storage. Was fortunate that no one was there to challenge him initially, but then Sloth steps up and it's down to a Playday trade back and forth with a really scuffed plant on bags itself that had no real information for things to even start coming together. Maybe you chalk up that first round for BDS on the attack to say, all right, boys, warm-up round, let's not worry about it. We have to see better here, otherwise this game just starts to run away because we'll be at 4-4 and all the momentum is with Heroic.
See, that plant on the bags could work if you did have control of at least that double door, making sure no one can come back into the main bar area. And if you have the Cigar under control, or at least piano, so no one's going to be firing into you from the side. Yet they had neither. And as the ammo is on the board here, Sloth needs to be careful, because that could just as well be through one of his windows that he's currently prepping.
Oh, I'd love to see him out this window and kill like 2 people now. I would just live for it. But you know it's not going to happen. They've got reinforcements. They've got the ADSs up here. They've committed to this. Here he comes now. Does he know about it? Oh, he had no idea what was coming. Hits the deck. A little bit of panic. Now back up on his feet. But Gorg's got a 2K Benger into a third. They've got the shutdown they need. BDS tried to make this rush play work, and they have been destroyed from every possible angle by the members of Heroic and Playday. He's like, well, guys, I'm in sight. Hello? I'm ready to plant. Where are you? The comms are silent. The team are gone. Heroic with a very decisive round, flawless as well at that. Okay, I'll change what I said. I'll give it this round for them to make it happen. You can't really use a rush as a sort of sign of, are the team really in this or not? But that one just looked a bit ill-prepared.
It definitely did. At the same time, we did see Sloth have a bit of a unlucky moment of swapping weapons though, because he realized that the Amaru was coming up, but then swapped from the pistol to the rifle as soon as she appeared through. Luckily, the cover was there though from the pillar side of things, and the entirety of BDS was shut down before they could even try and attempt their attack. So, as we head towards the mining next, we are avoiding the kitchen, the bottom floor. They're not coming through.
They're not hungry.
They're not hungry yet. Well, they might be hungry for some points, just not for any food. They'll come after the game. Castle barricades being tossed up just to make sure that they are being hindered in their approach if they do come from that bottom floor and up red or down red, depending on what direction they'll go through. And these holes in the floor will be making sure that they can shoot out those ankles. We've seen some tournaments being decided by foot shot, so might as well throw it.
Well, BDS were even involved in that. It was a 15-round classic on Theme Park in the best of 5 against G2, I want to say it was.
It was G2, yes.
Good while ago, that
Virtue
was.
that got the feet shot out, or the toe shot, rather.
Yeah. I said something like everyone loves some feet picks or feet shots or something like that. Just one of those moments.
I don't think
every
it's about
time I
that
see
one,
it,
but yeah.
every time I see it, I'm just like, you have to reference it now. Or when someone like saw through the hole, they could see their booty, and I was like, just shoot the booty, and they got away with it.
Yeah,
These vertical plays, they really open you up to some real nice little lines you could drop into this.
They definitely do, especially with the... I forgot what I wanted to say.
I was waiting for the closing line there, and it never came.
I can get up with that.
Like
Sorry, I'm
Hamilton's
going to
leaving his fans waiting for that first win.
Yeah, it's not going to come in this season. Mercedes Copium. All right, 4-4. Certainly Heroic managed to bring it back here. 2 first good defending rounds, and they continue to hopefully push on from here. Sloth prepared his window. He's going to get some help from the top here. Shows his head. Actually, Grizzly from a different window. 3 people onto that one side, onto the east side to get that first kill. Successfully at that.
Wrong cafe, mother. Beep. No, don't come round our ends. We've got guns pointing out all the windows.
Gaston swore last game. It's all fine. We can do that now. It's okay.
Yeah, but you have to drop it in a powerful moment. You can't just like randomly
just casually throw it in there.
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that. It's got to be tasteful and timely. I know we've got the whole swear jar thing, and we're allowed 1 per broadcast, but it's got to be used at a good time.
I haven't used one, actually. Even since we're allowed, I haven't sworn anymore.
It's because you're more conscious of it. It's a good thing. That's exactly why they put it in place. So while Fabian swears more, you swear less.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad thing. Let him be in trouble. You can be the good boy Hap.
Good boy Hap now. Either way, BDS looking to push through, and they're starting to come from the red side of things. They might get into some trouble, though, with that wall being closed off, with the pulse currently below, trying to feed some information. It's 2-3 people spotted around the red side, so definitely all guns of Heroic will be pointing that direction, maybe bar 1 or 2.
Just got to be careful no one's trying to push him from, say, restaurant side. I think he has got some cover. That's a great shot coming out of Benja. Rafal just no idea what hit him there. And now they've got to try and make do all the way up on this top floor. Again, clearing their way through. Not 100% sure as to whether or not there is anyone up here right now. Playday pausing for a second. I thought he was going to get on the drone, but by the looks of it, no, they're still cracking on and looking on towards the downstairs. They've got the piano control. They can open up the site. But part of their worry needs to be who might work their way up red stairs. Who might come and challenge them up white, for example. Heroic not really the kind of team to sit static and let you just walk all over them. They will come back and they will strike big. Shaiko finding one before getting traded out again. 2 kills fall by the wayside, and Renshiro again is left wondering what the hell happened. The comms have gone quiet. It's a 1 versus 4. Heroic looking set to take 3 rounds in a row, and that momentum swing now well and truly back in their favor.
Predicting a tactical timer coming through right after this.
It needs to happen.
Renshiro gets blown up from below. Heroic just close it off like that. He's getting bullied out of this round, and with that, it is Heroic that leads the charge now. Like they led after round 3. They've now retaken it. And BDS lost 3 in a row. 1 flawless. This time as well 2 entries before they found a response.
There we go.
And indeed the tactical timeout comes through, just like we predicted it would be. And let's see who's going to be the vocal one. Of course, the coach is talking. We don't see that. But maybe LMs will start speaking up here as well.
I just feel like Heroic have got their number. Like, everything they do just seems to be read into really well by the Heroic boys. Whether it's 1, 2, or even 3 players, all just taking these gunfights as soon as a player steps into the wrong area. They're just springing a trap where you saw at the end there was a gunfight and a C4 coming for him. At the start of the round, there were 2 of them at the windows together. Just
3, actually.
Heroic, yeah, making excellent team play overall and keeping BDS really asking questions all the time. And the thing is, BDS aren't even playing like in isolation. That you've got Shaiko supported by Playday immediately behind him. You've You've got the same coming out of like Rafal and Alems together, but they're just not finding these plays that they need to actually get kills and play for good trades. We saw that once, and that was on that push coming in through storage when Sloth got Shaiko, and then Playday came through with the trade. So even though BDS are kind of on paper, yes, playing as a team, yes, moving behind information, Heroic have just got that extra little bit of zap about their gameplay that BDS don't have.
They're just sharper.
Yeah, they are.
For winning their gunfights. I mean, and it was uncharacteristic to see, but Shaiko, in that gunfight with the LMG, seeing 2 targets, transferring in the middle of it whilst he hasn't even killed the very first one yet, could probably lost him his life there. If he would have stayed that a little bit more passively, gets the first kill, then swaps into the second, you might have gotten 2, but you definitely would have gotten 1. So some small mistakes being made individually here as well. And I mean, you can see it. Shaiko currently on 4. This is not the pace that he needs to have if he wants to reach that 100 record-breaking kill again.
No, but he does always seem to find a way. He has that really infuriating tendency where he'll have like a 20-kill game.
20 next week.
Exactly, and make up for everything. But this has always kind of been the story about BDS. It's always Shaiko that we're talking about. Back from, you know, days gone by when the RXWD on the team, and there was always the talk about, oh, it's 4 players plus Shaiko. Then we saw the kind of rise of BDS where they were actually playing really well. They were finishing 1st and 2nd place consistently. Couldn't quite do the business at a major, but could in at least the online stage. Now it kind of feels they're sort of rescinding, stepping back into what they were before, where they're lacking that sharp edge that they once had. I mean, it tells you a lot when your support player Playday is currently the one that's top fragging on the team.
I mean, back then it was also BDS when they...
Come on.
It should be a free kill.
Free.
In any given day.
3, 2,
However, it might just go the other way around. Oh, no, okay, Alems gets that one. I was going to say, you needed to go for the drop there. It's always a bit risky when you fall into the gunfight of your opponent there, but managed to get that first kill. So well done by BDS.
I like it, at least, because that drone now stays put, and they can just keep on watching for that potential white run out. So if anyone dares kind of retake that ground, which it wouldn't surprise me knowing how Heroic have played so far, wanting to be quite aggressive at points if they do want someone else back down there. BDS have worked their way in onto this top floor a lot quicker than last time, because think back to it last time, Hap, it took them 2 minutes to get to this point. They've got an extra minute on the clock to work with here, and that means more drone time, more information, and more chance to use that utility to clear out members of Heroic.
Jump out coming through, finding one. Rafal quickly on the trade, however, but you lost the Lems. There's going to be 2 concussions and impact gone. These keeper barriers will stay up just a little bit longer, as it's going to be more difficult to get rid of them now. They managed to take care of 1, but there's still going to be 2 or 3 more present in that piano area, so BDS might just have to abandon that altogether.
Now with that half desk being shot out, at the very least it means no one can play behind it. Normally the aim that you're going for with those grenades is to make sure no one can step through the rotate, play behind it, challenge Skylight a bit easier, looking towards Cigar. So doing the right sort of stuff to get themselves set up. Sees the head, but Uno's just better at this point as well. Shaiko shut down, a nade follows through, but it's just a little bit too slow. And we spoke about that zippiness that was coming out of Heroic. You can kind of see for BDS there's a little bit of delay on the follow-up of Shaiko's death.
Shaiko there as well, he saw the head but tried to go for the re-peek afterwards because he wasn't properly lined up for it. Took too much time and allowed Uno to line up the SMG-11 shot there. So well played by Uno, and now back into that 3-on-3, 40 seconds on the clock. They need to go for a plan, but with everything opened up, there is no safe space where they can do so. They need to get 1 or 2 more kills if they want to find themselves in an opportunity to safely get it down.
Heroic just being patient as Saints here as well, just waiting, sitting and watching for their chance. And Playday exposes 1, Rafal the second, Gorg's up to 11 kills, and they must know the last man is up on the Skylight. 20 seconds to play for Renshiro to try and stage a heroic recovery effort. It just doesn't seem possible at this point. It'll put Heroic up to match point with a 2-round advantage as well. C4 coming through, not finding anyone but Uno on the swing. Him and Gorgona a mega 2K in that round to make sure Heroic are just 1 round away from bringing down the French side.
No Brazil-like drive there from the last player on the side of BDS. And with that, round 11 could just be the all-deciding factor here. Is Heroic going to be taking it home before we even reach round number 12? Is it going to be 7-4? Or does BDS have something left in the tank? Some extra power they can deploy right now to make sure that they do fight for that overtime?
You're talking about power, Hat. At this point, BDS are dropping more rounds than power units. It's looking dire. This could be the last defense then. Into Reading and Fireplace we go. We've seen Heroic already here, kind of in the last round with that top 4 hold. I imagine you're going to see the same. I don't think BDS goes so crazy here as to pull out a rush and try and storm their way through Snow Door, for example. No, it's going to be that top floor clear, and Heroic surely read into that.
The thing is, though, like, whether they rushed or whether BDS have been trying to play this like the normal way of Siege, right? The methodical way where you clear whatever you need step by step and try and work your way through the checklist, they've been denied either way. 4 rounds in a row currently for Heroic. 7 through 10. Not a single one won yet from BDS onto the attack here. So something needs to change. And whether that be pace or decisiveness or, you know, the snappiness you cannot just change in the middle of that game. That is just there or it isn't. They need to find a way to get rid of Heroic.
I mean, my thing about BDS, the word I keep on using, is saying they're just not a very dynamic team. They don't have that ability to suddenly change gears or do something crazy. And sure, they tried that rush. We've had Rafał trying to jump out, so there's hints of it, but we're not seeing success in those plays either. There's not the ability to just deploy that and catch a team off guard. They always seem to be prepared for it, at least on Heroic side. And so for BDS, the question always comes in, okay then, what is third gear for you guys? What does it look like? How do you keep teams guessing and having to adapt to what you're doing? Because it feels like once you've got a read on how BDS like to play, they're going to keep on doing that time and time again. You just got to be better than them in that one individual round.
The thing is, they're like, I always used to see them as a pretty methodical team that had the explosiveness to pull the trigger if they really needed it to. Like, normally they would just...
They reminded me of old Empire.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, they could do whatever they want in terms of strategy. They would outclass their opponents, but if that didn't work, then they could just say, all right, guys, let's just go in through this one door and kill everybody.
Yes.
And it used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. And as Shaiko, again, misses so many good parts here, actually manages to get that first kill onto Benja as he did decide to use the Excara's hole there.
The reaction time on some of these pro players just terrifies you, man, and that is another one of those. Sure, Shaiko nearly loses his life, but you just saw a bit of a tango between two of the best that we've got in EU, Shaiko and Benja. Unfortunately, this time around for Benja, at least, Shaiko comes out on top. But for our benefit, the game could well go on. Alem's taking a bit of a shot here from down towards Cocktail. Out comes the EMP to go down large, and Sloth having to dig his way back ever so slightly here. As there's a bit of pressure coming in from the Skylight. But just a reminder, we are on Reading and Fireplace. This top floor, this is all good time being wasted by Heroic. They aren't going to complain too much. They've lost a man, but so far have burnt through quite a bit of time and nearly every single drone that BDS had in back pocket.
Control on that top floor is still quite important, though, especially with the verticalities that you can use to stop any of these plants from happening. Sloth ready to go for a jump out. Knows the line is on the other side. Is going to go for it. Gets it as well. 4-4 and chooses the long way around. Indeed has that support. But with that, that opened up, he's safely allowed to return, not having to be afraid of the skyline.
That, again, is a little bit of team play that I keep on referencing for Heroic. It's just better than what we're seeing out of BDS. Gorg racing down wide, opening up the rotate, making sure Sloth had a safe way back in. Just little beautiful moments like that. It's not hard to get it right. It's just a bit of team play. And right now, Heroic are shining. Got to give a massive shout out to Uno. Normally in the shadows a little bit on this team. He's at 10-4 this game and had some massive 2Ks. In comes Shaiko, shuts down Gorg. So now it turns down to these last three members. Another second one coming through. Can you smell that ace on the way, Hap? Because it's starting to build up. Shaiko still looking for the next two. They've only got 15 seconds to play though. It's now or never. You've got to make this work. BDS coming in for the plant. Shaiko, the sole sentry, holding down this site at this point. Just waiting for the drop. One comes through. He makes it a quad. Can he find the last? He sees the man. Of course he can. It's an ace for Shaiko to keep BDS in it. One more round and we get OT.
What a round that was from Shaiko there. Make sure that they survive. Make sure they live towards round 12. Where the match point is still Heroics, but BDS have an opportunity to at least put one on the board and fight for a potential second. And now Heroic going for the tactical timeout. Now, it's not that they lost it strategically. They lost it due to Shaiko finally hitting his shots, because that is something we've seen lacking throughout this game. He continued to being picked up from these angles where he just wasn't lined up properly. And yes, these Kibber barriers, they have definitely helped the side of Heroic, because they're just odd angles being created, ones that you cannot really prepare for. You need to snap onto them to make sure that you find those gunfights. And he did that in the very first one. Piano cleared, continues to go on for that ace. But that is the very first round where we've seen Shaiko be his true self.
That's what I meant as well. Just the reaction time was terrifying. It's a classic Shaiko play, and one that turned into an ace at the end of the round as well. Just imagine if Benja had won that early fight, how differently that could have played out. We could be saying GG right now and throwing it off to the desk for the break, but no, we get at least one more round. Hopefully, potentially 3 more to follow if BDS can close things out. They're going to try the same site once again, clearly feeling, look, lightning don't strike twice, right? He won't get a second ace. Don't be silly. We can play this plenty fine. That remains to be seen.
It's always dangerous saying those kind of things, because you might just manifest it into existence.
That's what I'm trying to do.
A second ace in a row from Shaiko, that would have been something else. Anyway, prep window. Just open it up there. Potentially for a jump out. It was a drone on the other side. Same goes for the main door, so Rafał definitely should be aware of the player down here. Benja currently will be rotating back up. just to make them afraid, just to make them think and drone extra carefully on that bottom floor. Waste some extra time there as you may, because the rest will be hiding on that third floor and that second floor.
There we go. So a bit of challenge coming in from Bathroom here with just half the wall being left reinforced, half of it being left soft. A shield on the other side means, I think on the side of BDS here, they're going to have to be conscious of trying to push in through towards this area, in towards Piano, where Benj is currently setting himself up with a couple of those keeper barriers once again. Another one still charging in back pocket, which likely goes on to that kind of Piano barricade that surrounds this Piano stage area, just to make sure he's extra safe tucked in there with that support coming in from Bathroom as well.
You know, getting some information down on that scanner. It just said he's been having a pretty good game so far. 10 on 5 is definitely not something to be disappointed about. Spots one player near the bakery. On that drone, won't be able to see that, of course, just sees that that heartbeat is currently standing still, but with that, it's one player accounted for, 4 more to go. The hatch is opening up. They also will realize some people are up on that roof, so the more he finds downstairs, the more or less they need to worry about on the top floor, I dare to say.
I didn't catch where the goal canisters have gone down, but obviously Grizzly picking that up is the big change in this round. Shaiko, surely not, my son. Surely not again. The man can't turn into a beast 2 rounds in a row. Surely not. But it's the pulse gone away. A big intel operator to lose in the round as well. Uno's played that, I think, in 4 of our 6 rounds so far. In fact, I'm a total liar. It's 3 of the 6 rounds they've had on the defensive side. Clearly quite a lean in towards it. And they may well find themselves missing out on that information being a bit of a stinger. Alems catches the drop as well. A great read by BDS. Starting to warm into things a little bit more here, Hap.
They definitely are. That was an unfortunate drop there at the same time as Lems actually managed to find an angle onto the hatch. Finds that second kill. And with that, BDS now with a 2-man advantage. Again, starting to open up towards that side. Just hoping to prepare an opportunity to go for the plant. Not on the reading room, which is usually going to be the case, but on the dining area, where they just managed to get the plant down as well. They need to be careful, though. Grizzly still up above is going to be using...
He wants the air jab gone.
Oh, I was going to say, that's a very weird nitro. That is not destructible from above, so that could have only been the air jab, yes.
Yeah, it just got planted on their borrow foul. I think he wants the ability to still step into challenge around those keeper barriers, so it makes sense. Maybe a little bit overcommitted, given the down to only 3, though. That C4 could have been the big difference maker as this round gets into the last 45 seconds. BDS have got that numbers advantage. You can see him crawling around on the downstairs as they move in towards the site. Gorg looking to challenge from White, and finally the Demon King Shaiko is gone.
It's gone. Sloth coming around on that top floor. There's still someone underneath the new hatch. Rafal will get that kill. It's a very important one because with that, Pillar stays under their control. Gorgona finds one. Grizzly finds one as well. It's a one-on-one right now. It's Gorgona up against Renshiro. The diffuser is down underneath the new balcony. It's 20 seconds. He has no clue where this last defender is.
He's got to step in and make it happen here and now. Renshi hasn't got the diffuser on side, so he's clearly going in looking for the kill. The problem is he's playing blind. Gorg can just run away from this one if he so chooses, but he comes down for the fight and wins it out. Of course it has to come down to a 1 versus 1. Heroic win it out. BDS so close, but still yet to find a full 3 points here after 2 play days.
Was very anxious when Gorgona decided to actually go for the challenge there onto the white stairs. The diffuser was down. He could have just quickly went up. There would have been not a single opportunity for him to chase, as he is, of course, that 3-speed operator, but finds and wins the gunfight either way. An MVP for Gorgona at that, and a 7-5 victory for Heroic, who take a full 3 points here against BDS, who seemed to start off strong in that first half, except for the kitchen. We don't talk about that kitchen. Didn't really work out that well. But then as soon as they went over towards the attack, it seemed like they were totally lost.
It's one of those again as well. And I've got to really give some hype over to Heroic as well, because today we saw Benja be quiet.
Yes.
Benja normally is dropping 15 plus kills. He's an absolute demon, but you've seen other players get involved. Uno in the backline, Gorgona on the flex, Sloth in the front line as well. Just overall, a really, really strong game from Heroic. BDS still left chasing again. That first elusive full-time win. They got the 2 points last week, but this is not the start to the stage this team wanted. And with 5 or 6 teams now fighting for our top 4 spots, this could be one of those games that comes back to haunt them. Let's go to a quick break. When we come back, our desk will break it down for you.